Hey, and thank you for clicking play, and Happy New Year. And something 25, because I don't know what hashtag to use this year. We discussed this over on This Week in Retro, actually, on the Christmas episode and the 200th episode. And I think the first episode in the new year, they'll be discussing what could be the hashtag for 2025. So do jump over onto This Week in Retro. Do look on the subreddit, reddit/r/This Week in Retro, I think. I don't know. And join in that conversation. Highlights for this year, I think, in terms of gaming, collecting, that for me, in terms of last year, 2024, just to sort of look back on that, I think standout pickups have to be, this is kind of in reverse collecting order really, but that arcade machine that I picked up whilst working on my garage. Fantastic. Look forward to getting my hands dirty with that. But also the PS2, as I've mentioned before, it just, got nicely used. Was that 2024 or was that 2020? That was this year. Yeah, well, I think it's a long time ago now. The zip stick from George Toohey. Where's that gone? Oh, it's in the other room. My A1200 and the zip sticker in the other room. Just lots of things. I've been very fortunate this year, but you'll have noticed there's been less and less pickup videos as I've sort of slowed down. I'm not trying to compete with anybody else's collection. I'm just trying to recollect my own memories in a sensible way with a little bit of segueing either side. Actually, he says, looking around the room for inspiration, but this is a key pickup. The Atari 2600 boxed Vader that I picked up. That was really cool because it was literally, that's the machine in box, looks hardly used, that I would have had as a kid had Father Christmas brought me an Atari when I was begging him for one, as well as a drum kit, an ASAT Walker and a BMX. So, yeah. It was good to have that. Good to grab that Atari, and it's actually sitting in its box most of the time because I like it. I like to keep it complete. The only part of that collection, even though there's two genuine controllers in there, is the PSU I'm using for my 6-switch. I need to buy a modern PSU so I can retire that to the box as well. Not that Vader's going to stay in the box. I like to use all my stuff, as you well know. And I also want to quickly discuss, different camera angle, but just the standout videos, or the video. It's not really the standout video, so I just want to have a quick look at the flow of the channel. I'm not after this for the views. I'm certainly not in it to make money. If I was in YouTube to make money, I would be doing freaking cat videos. Freaking woman washes cat can get 2.4 million views. What's that about? I don't know. So I wouldn't even be doing this niche at all if I was in it for the money, if I'm honest. So really, I mean, it's interesting to see what you guys have enjoyed watching. Here's an outlier. So this was 8 months ago, and this was my Donkey Kong Game & Watch time travel video, and you would not believe the amount of effort that went into making this video and the image that I create at the end. And it didn't really get that many views, but it doesn't matter. That's one of my favourite videos. It really does catalogue my love for Donkey Kong Game & Watch and my memories attached to it. And one of the only photos that I think exists of me actually playing games from back in the day. So if you haven't, this isn't to try and get you to click on videos that you haven't clicked on yet. It's not that. But if that sounds of interest to you and you just missed it, then I like that one. I love the new stuff that has come out, like the Atari 2600 Plus and Mr. Run and Jump, stuff like that. Absolutely love playing about with that. Ability to play 7,800 games on the 2600 Plus. Love all that. I've been really generously gifted things like, new old stock games from Psy, the Zip Stick, which I've already mentioned. We've got the Curse of the Trojan Light Phaser. Where is that? Where is the Curse of the Trojan Light Phaser? Here it is. Oh, far out. We'll see where we get with that. Glad my pinball machine worked. This is a really good way of reflecting back on the year, actually. But for me, I mean, finishing that day one collection. So if you haven't seen that, that's what that's about. The day one collection is complete. It's on the shelf behind me, basically. Everything I bought with my Amiga day one back in the day, I've already got. It was fantastic. Two things I have to mention. Fantastic visiting the RMC exhibition and arcade. If you do get the chance, you're in the UK, you have to go there. It's in Stroud. You just have to go there. I don't get any payback or discount or anything for that. It's you just have to go there if you're into this scene. Kickstart, that was fantastic. But as are equally, I have to say, the local meets that we have here in Perth, had great fun with that, especially our first gaming day that we had as well. But yeah, I mean, revisiting the caravan park that I went to as a kid, that is a massive thing for me. I've wanted to do that for years. I wanted to take my parents there because they used to take me there, and unfortunately never got the chance to do that. But it was great to take Nikki there. We had a great time. So Buckle Grove in Somerset. All the places we went to in the UK, actually, and Sweden as well, in fact. And definitely one of the most special things to happen this year was playing on my nephew's original Amiga 500, a machine that we both played on as kids. So many memories attached to that actual physical machine. And pairing it up with a zip stick that George had given me just completed the feel for me. And I bought Sammy a Sega stick so that he can continue using it. I'd literally written a stack of discs so that he could play the same games we used to play together. That was a real standout moment. That was amazing. But for me, and the coat peg from what was my parents' house, that was pretty special. Getting those stickers, that was amazing. I think for me, my favourite video of this year was the one I put together with my mate Lee in England, and us visiting what used to be the computer shops in Tunbridge Wells, the town where I grew up. That was a really special thing to spend time doing. And even though that video might not be everybody's cup of tea, well, that's got 1,000 views. That's pretty good going. Partially because I put that on the Royal Tunbridge Wells page as well, because obviously it's got a broader interest than just gaming. That was cool. And another thing that will be coming up in next year is a follow-up to that, and I'll give kudos to the person that's been helping me behind the scenes gather some newspaper clippings which kind of tell a fuller story about some of those shops. So that I'm looking forward to doing. I'm going to have to chase some copyright permissions, but even if I don't get the permissions, I can still tell you what's in the clippings. I just might not be able to show them. So we'll handle that with care, because copyright is a thing. That's just the reality of it. Hand on heart, that was my favourite video. So Lee, I know it was your first or second time in front of the camera, and it was a bit nerve-wracking, especially being out of public. I don't like filming in public, but we had a great time. So there we go. That is my favourite video of 2024. Be interested to know what yours was. Anyway, speaking of what else is coming up in 2025, let's discuss that. So, talking about what we're going to do in 2025, about Revive in 25. Revive 25. Well, I don't know, I just thought of that one myself. Don't know what it means. It could mean anything you want, couldn't it? But I'm going to give you some clues as to where I want to take the channel. And before I get into this, I just want to state we're still going to be doing games. We're still going to be doing gameplay videos. I'm still going to share my personal memories to each game that I play on video, if it's one that I had back in the day. So that's still going to be going on. Here's a clue as to what I'm thinking, okay? Clue number 1. Unreal Tournament. Clue number 2. the Spectrum Plus 3 Basic Manual. Clue number 3, Shoot 'em Up Construction Kit. I haven't cracked this bad boy out in a while, have I? Okay. Duke Nukem 3D. That's clue number 4. Kiloton Edition, no doubt. That's not relevant, by the way. We're slightly off, aren't we? You're not seeing the clues. How's that? That's a bit betterer. Okay. Clue number 5. Yeah. 3D construction kit for the Amiga. It's clue number 5. We've not looked at this at all. Amos, the creator, for the Amiga. Okay. There's your clues. Pause the video if you want to play the game, and before I tell you what I'm going to try and get into in the new year, pop it down in the comments now. Right, okay, so basically what I want to do in 2025, and it's going to be hopefully something that will flow on into future years, but this is sort of the Kickstarter. Not Kickstarter, I'm not putting a Kickstarter out there, but you know what I mean. This is to kickstart me in this mindset. It's to basically just once again get creative with my old kit. And so part of that, oh, and I just want to say, I won't necessarily film the creative part of all of this because I know you might have interest, but all I'm going to do is make mistakes because I'm concentrating on filming. Then I'll spend more time editing a stupidly long video if I'm coding something, because I'm not very good at coding. I don't see the benefit in that. So what I'll do is I'll make a video about the concept and maybe where I've got to in that concept, and then I'll give you an update further down the line. And of course, when you're being creative, if you're trying to make a game or a program or whatever, then you know it's going to take a while. So no, all these things aren't going to happen this year necessarily. But what I'm talking about is, and I've done kind of videos on some of this stuff a while back, but like coding on the Spectrum again, I want to recreate the programs that I made for my own Plus 3 back in the day. That I essentially created a introductory disc, because it never came with one, that I then bundled with the computer when I sold it to my brother's mate. So that's what I'll be doing on the Spectrum Plus 3, is recreating that program, and that introductory disc is the plan. Unreal Tournament and also Duke Nukem 3D, the same deal really. I just want to get back into making some levels, and I've got some ideas of stuff that I want to do. One may be a collab with somebody else in the community. And that's all I'm going to say on that, because it may or may not come off and I don't want to drop them in it. The other one, which will probably be an Unreal Tournament, is one of the areas that myself and my mate Steve, who comments on the channel, we used to hang out at this particular location, and I want to see if I can recreate that in an Unreal Tournament level, because I think it would make quite a cool level. And plus it will give us a nice nostalgic visit. Obviously it's not going to look lifelike, but in terms of the layout of the buildings and stuff, hopefully for myself and Steve, that will sort of take us back to those days, which will be cool. We can run around in our old playground, Steve. It'd be great. Shoot 'em up construction kit. The plan there is basically, I made a game, as you know, and I gave that away as a one-off. There's a couple of other simple game things I want to do, and then I'll just make the files available. This I may or may not do, because I've been through the journey of using this on the original hardware. So in all honesty, I might do that in emulation, and of course I'll then test the final product on the real hardware before distributing that as an ADF. So a couple of game ideas. And what I also want to do in Shoot 'em Up Construction Kit, and these will be on video, is there's some things that it can't do, but I want to have a play about with, but can we make it do those things? So that's what I want to do with that. We haven't touched on 3D construction kit at all, so this is owed a video. I need to do a video on 3D construction kit. Loved it back in the day. Looking forward to getting back into that. And again, I want to recreate some of the stuff that I made back in the day, so that should be fairly simple. That's long overdue. And what I never had access to back in the day was Amos on the Amiga. So once I've dabbled with all of that, I really want to get into, can I make a semi-decent game in Amos? What can it do? What can't it do? And what I've noticed recently because of the Trojan Light phaser, obviously I didn't pick up on this back in the day, but the games that came with the Trojan Light phaser were made with Amos. So that means you can make your own light gun games with this. Fantastic. So, and when I get into stuff like this, I mean, this is kind of beyond me a little bit. So I will be leaning on the community to see what we can and can't do. So that's the plan. I've also got a collab video I'm planning with another YouTube video. It's a separate to the level stuff. I haven't forgotten George. You know what I'm talking about. That's the only clue. Haven't forgotten. So I want us to get that out of the way and get that done sooner rather than later, hopefully. Obviously, some of the pickups, the Transformers and Lego and stuff, I'll feature them at some point, maybe sooner rather than later, just to get those out of the way. And that's it. And obviously I will give you an update on the garage bar pub project and also the arcade machine project as I get on with those. So that's it really. Bit of a subdued happy 2025, and on that note, I don't know how that happened. Look back at the Christmas pickups video and you'll see how much was in here. That was filmed yesterday. And this is the first one of today, and that's the finish. That I don't know how that happened. Anyway, that's the dooley's gone. So yeah, happy 2025. All the best to you and yours, and revive in 25. Stay alive. Stay alive. Which I don't know. We'll get into that, AJ. Stay alive, still alive in 25. I think we need something more positive than that. Yeah, jump over to This Week in Retro once they ask the question and help us out with a tag for 2025. Bye.